Welcome to the podcast Soulcasted. I'm your host, Tara Lockett. On today's episode, we are going to talk about a topic by the name of Inside Looking Out, the Marks of Mental Slavery Continue. But first, I do want to remind you that this season, our theme is breaking free and becoming whole. Now, for us to break free and become whole, we must heal our minds. We must free our hearts, and we must activate the change that's so needed for us to thrive as a race of humans. Now, I want to get into new to Soulcasted. The website is back up. You can go to www.soulcasted.com. On that website, you'll have the ability to catch up with the first season episodes as well as the last few episodes that was aired on YouTube if you can't get it through that avenue. You can also go into the blog section, and so we'll go from there and we'll grow from there. Actually, that's what this website is about, is servicing you. So please go on that website and check it out. Now, I want to get into the quote of the day, the AKA, like I like to call it, wisdom dots. And it's coming to you by our 5th century ancient Chinese philosopher by the name of Lao Tzu. And he gives us a wisdom that says, by remaining true to yourself without seeking to compete and compare, you will achieve universal respect. There's 2 things that stand out to me about that. Number 1 is being true to yourself. And number 2 is getting respect from the universe. Very interesting, right? The first thing that I want to talk about on those 2 examples is being true to yourself. I remember being told that I wasn't true to myself by an individual, and I'm so thankful for that wisdom that he shared with me because it gave me the opportunity to look in the mirror. And then the second thing is, you mean to tell me that the universe wants to give us respect? We'll receive universal? We'll achieve universal respect? That's important because what we give to the universe gives back. And so remember that quote, by remaining true to yourself without seeking to compete and compare, we will achieve universal respect. Speaking of, let's get into that topic. Inside looking out. What you have behind me is a picture. This artwork is done by my mother, and the title of it is called Inside Looking Out. And so I wanted to use that title to go over a few things that we need to talk about in regards to check your mama. Now, we did check your daddy, so now we're doing check your mama. And so we're going to get into it. The thing about this is the marks of mental slavery concerning this kind of healing process that needs to be done. We have to understand we are going through a process of reparenting ourselves. What are we reparenting? We are unlearning the things that's been taught, the things that we saw, the things that we were taught, the things that we learned, the things that we felt, the emotions that we felt. And so let's get into it. What does it look like? Well, it looks like not having any boundaries at all. We've heard those words, but we really need to start taking accountability of what it means. Also, you know how you go to that mode of being the rescue ranger? At least that's what I was. I was a rescue ranger. If something needed to be fixed, I'm your rescue ranger. But that has an attachment of having a need to belong. And the thing about that is, if you don't know that your very existence is enough to matter, then you need to understand and take that and meditate on it so that you know that your very existence matters. Then there's that third thing that most of us don't want to talk about, and we say, oh, it's not so bad, but it's just as bad to me as a sex addiction, as a drug addiction, as alcohol addiction, and that's gossip. If you have nothing nice to say to someone, say nothing at all, because gossip is a part of shaming, and shaming is a part of an abuse. It's an attachment. Then we get into not valuing our purpose. Now, in order for us to value our purpose, we have to know our purpose. But if we're not identified to anything connected to our purpose, then we'll continue to gossip, because basically gossip is just simply wanting what someone else has. Then we get into the moment of being intimidated by other women. Now, throughout society, we have layers of pain when it comes to this, simply because we've been trained since little girls to have that toward each other. And just imagine this for a moment, that if we as women, we united and we put aside all that other anger and hurt and pain and bitterness, imagine how powerful we can be once we unite. The goal is to break free and become whole. Now, we also have to understand taking on a whole bunch of different responsibilities is also attached to the marks of mental slavery. If you're taking on responsibilities and doing things to fill a void, you're deceiving yourself. Okay? You're not being true to yourself, as the quote says. And if you're doing it to fill the void, yes, you can't do it that way. That's just simply saying that you're being avoidant. And the point is for us, we our job is to link in and to grab hold and to simply confront the thing that's holding us back. For me, through all of these marks of mental slavery, the pain marks of what I'm sharing with you are simply attachments. And for us to free our heal our minds, we have to release those attachments, and we have to plant in ourselves the things that's needed to grow. Now, I want to share something with you. The thing about this blockage is a strong emotional attachment. And it's a mental blockage and strong and emotional because if you've had any negative experience with your mother, then you will know the difficulties that it takes to heal. However, it's possible. And the truth is we must break those things because if we don't break them, it will be repeated. I did a speech and in the first season. It's called Hello Mag, MAG. And that speech took me through probably a month or two where I was evaluating my thoughts, my emotions and things of that matter. The reason why I named it Hello Mag is because it was a reminder. So when I'm having a bad day, hello Mag, what does that mean? And what is my mood like? What is my attitude like? And what am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? So you say hello Mag, and then when you put yourselves in those categories of evaluating yourself, then you come out with an outcome that has, self responsibility. It says, okay, so you can have a bad day, but don't stay there too long. Just make sure you're progressing. What I want to share with you, again, I told you about this painting. When I shared this painting with my therapist gave me homework, and I want to share those things with you. So this painting had such an emotional attachment to it because when my mom passed, this was kind of like the only thing I really had that reminded me and brought back some memories that I had lost about my mother. And it was interesting because I went into one of my sessions and I talked to him about it, and he said, "Oh, really?" And I showed him a picture, and he said, "Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home, and I want you to tell me what you see in this picture. What do you get out of the artwork that your mom put into this picture?" And so I did that. And I came up with, as I'm preaching to you, we have to confront, right, that emotion. So I confronted that emotion, and in confronting that emotion, I got this out of it: positive, birth, pain turned into strength, release, trust, inside looking out. Now I'm going to the stage of challenge. Because the question was, what do you see in this painting? What do you see in this painting? I want you to look at it. Take a look at it. Tell me what you see. For me, I'm going to read 13 things that I got out of it, and I want you to check it out as I'm speaking them. So I'll get out the way a little bit. Inside looking out. No one can see me. It relates to every woman who feels left out, ashamed, guilt, embarrassed, insecure, right? No boundaries, competing with each other. It's the image of most of us women that are hurting. Every woman deserves to see the sunset, the ocean, the water, darkness, and waves. Every person can break free. There's always hope. Nothing is happening on the inside. It's calm. The water is beating on the rocks. To me, self-destruction, which means if we don't clean it up, we can take the mistakes and create our own self-destruction. Where's my destination? I don't see a vision, nor do I see the ability to take a risk. I can't express my feelings or my emotions, hence, inside looking out. The image of her head, and yes, if you look at this picture, and I did for quite a few years, and I didn't see the woman in the picture. My mother told me for years that there is a woman in the picture. But as a kid, I never focused on seeing the woman. The only thing I focused on was looking at the sun, and that sun gave me hope. But it wasn't until I turned 54 years old when I seen the woman in the picture. The mask. My face can't be known. Why? Because most of us women walk around with shame, fear, doubt. We wear a mask of deception. Everything is okay, but it's not okay. We are mentally battling in our minds secretly. Big and small mountains, which are all God issues. And then I looked at the sky colors, and I noticed if you look at this painting, there is no blue in the sky whatsoever. And so for me, that indicated probably the emotion of what I was going through growing up in that atmosphere, which was bruising, dark, deep darkness. Maybe the tears in the water are tears. But I put my own spin on number 13, and it came down to this. Put the past behind you. Take the risk. Follow a new direction. How about outside looking in instead of inside looking out? Because the truth is, we have to look within in order for us to heal the marks of mental slavery. We must break the darkness. My mother gave me hope when I look at the sun. Who was my mother? The woman in this picture. Now, if you're trying to figure out, okay, I don't see a woman. You're with me on that. But if you look at the outline of the picture, it is in the outline of a woman. My mother was loving. She was outgoing. She was naturally beautiful. She was the oldest of her sisters, and there were 5 of them, 7 in total. She loved her children, all 13 of them. You still trying to find that lady? You still trying to find the lady? Maybe this can help you out. Maybe that can help you out. This is the artist of that drawing. Her name is Beverly. That's my mother. Now, I want you to understand something. All pain from any unhealed relationship or any experience and any unhealthy relationship, whether it be with your parents, whether it be in a relationship, one thing we must always remember, and that is all pain wants to be acknowledged. Just like an individual, let's say your team wins a championship and no one acknowledges them, how are they going to feel? Well, pain is the same way. For us to heal ourselves from pain, we must acknowledge it. And in acknowledging it, we allow ourselves to be free from fear, from shame, from guilt. And those are the things that held our mothers back. Those things tore our mothers apart. Those things allowed our mothers to not feel the self-worth. And then it also stole from us the ability to know that nothing has a limit, that we can achieve all that we need to achieve in life without a limit. And the sooner we heal our minds and free our hearts and activate the change, the better. I want to thank you so much for watching and listening. You're on the podcast So Casted. I'm your host, Tara Lockett. And remember, we are breaking this curse. It is important for us to break this curse. And the reason why is because your mind matters and is the vision of the future. And knowing that, I say, imagine